Hello guys, this is Reza and welcome to our Python tutorials. In this tutorial we're going to talk about data structures in Python. And there are different types of data structures in order to store sets of data, but today we're going to talk about the most useful one, which is the lists. But what are the lists? Imagine that you have a set of values and you want to store them. As you know, the primitive types like string, like numbers or booleans cannot contain a set of values, but you can store a collection, a set inside data structures like list. But how do we do that? Imagine that we have got a list of colors. We'll have a variable called colors inside which we want to have a set of colors. First of all, the important syntax for the lists is the brackets. You have to use the brackets, and because the colors are strings, so all the values inside are of type string. Imagine that the colors are red, we have green, maybe blue, and black. Let's add another color, for example white, because when we want to talk about indices we will need at least 5 values to be more clear and precise. Alright, now we have got a set of colors in a variable. How can we access these colors? First of all, imagine that we have got a print and we want to print everything inside the colors. We can simply say print colors, and if we print this one, it will show us the whole list. As you see here, colors is of type list of strings, a list that contains a set of string values. Of course, you could have different types, different values inside. For example, here you could have number, or here you could have a boolean type like true. Then it would give you a list of different types, string, integer, and boolean. But it is better to keep the items inside the list of the same type. So we'll just reverse everything, and if we run this program, it will print you all the values inside the color. As you can see, red, green, blue, black, and white. But what if we wanted to get access to each item? Like the strings that I told you, they have index for accessing each value. Here also we have got indices. Red is index 0, green is index 1, so be careful, indices always start with 0. Blue is 2, black is 3, and white is for sure 4. So if you want to access these values, you can address them using the indices. So clearly, if we want to see red, we can write like this: colors, brackets, and then 0 inside. As you can see, red is printed here for us. If we put 3, we could have black, 0, 1, 2, and 3. If we have a very long list and we don't want to count from start, the last index is always -1. So you could access white using colors of -1. So if we run this program, we can see white here. So clearly -2 is black, -3 is blue, -4 is green. For testing, you can see -4 is green. So you can access them starting from 0 for the first item, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, or you can access them using minus numbers, -1, which is the last item inside the list, and so on. You can also access a range of items using column. For example, you want to access 1, 2, 4, but you have to be careful about the last one. If you write 4 here, it will start from the first index, which is 1, then it goes 2, 3, and it doesn't include the last one. So from 1 to 4, it shows you 1, 2, 3. This is 0, so it is ignored. 1, 2, and 3. Let's run it. You can see green, blue, and black, which are these. You could write 1 to 3. You can say green and blue are printed here. You could say 1 to minus 1. You know, minus 1 is this one, but this one is not going to be printed because we will go on until the one before the last. So we will have green, blue, black here, up to black, because white is not considered. So from, for example, 0, 2 minus 3 will get, this is 0, and minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. So this one is not also included. It is red and green, as you can see here. But if you want to start from 0, you can leave it empty here. So the left side of column can be empty, and if you leave it empty, it means from the start. So it will give us the same results, as you can see, red and green. Or you can start from 1 and you can leave the last one empty. Let's see what happens here. Green, blue, black, and white. So it says that starting from this index, go until the end, even containing the last item. So this is the way to access the last item if you leave it empty here. This was the way to get access to multiple values inside a list. You can give values and change the values of these by accessing their index. For example, you can change color 1 to maybe gray. In this way, if you run this code, it will start from gray, not from green, because color 1 is gray, not green anymore. As you can see, if we print all colors, you can see that green is replaced with gray. You could also give value to a set of values. For example, from 1 to 4, which is 1, 2, and 3. 3 items. And we want to put gray for all of them. So we'll write like this. Gray, and then again, gray. So what happens here? From 1 to 4, it means from green, 1, 2, and 3. These 3 will get gray. And when we print all the colors, we have red, gray, 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 and white. Let's check. As you see, red, gray, 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 and white. There are also some pre-built functions that you can apply on the list. For example, you can see how many items are there in a list by using the function len and then putting inside the parentheses as the input parameter the colors. So you will get the length of this color. Here it should be 5 because there are 5 elements in the color. Let's see. As you can see, there are 5 elements in this list. The other thing that you can do is you can delete one item. For example, you can say del and then colors 2. What is colors 2? It is blue. If you write this and then we see the length, it will be 4, as you can see. And then if you want to see the colors only, you can see that blue doesn't exist anymore. Let's check. As you see, red, green, black, and white. Another thing you can do is you can extend a list. But how can you do that? You can do, for example, colors dot extend and then a set, for example, gray and pink. What does it do? It adds these two, or it adds this other list to the end of the colors list. So colors would be red, green, blue, black, white, gray, and pink. Let's check. As you can see, gray and pink are added to the end of colors. You could put that in a variable called, for example, list, and then you could add this list to extend here. If we run it, you can see the same results. So you could put this one directly here, or you could put it inside a list and then add it here. The other thing you could do is that you can append one value at the end of the list. You can use append function, and then you could add one element, for example, pink. So if we print colors, we will have red, green, blue, black, white, and pink also at the end. As you can see, pink is added after white. But append and extend added the item to the end of the list. What if we wanted to add something to the first, or we wanted to add something in the middle? That's doable by using insert. But what does it take as input parameters? First, it gets the index. For example, you want to add gray between red and green. So the index would be 1. This is 0, and after 0 is 1. So you'll put 1 as the index, and then you will put the value, which is gray. Let's run it. As you can see, gray is added here. You could put it at first. You see, gray is put at first, and then all the list is put after that. So you can set the index here, and then if you set an index, it will shift the others coming at this index and afterwards one to the right. You could also remove a value. As you remember, by deleting, you had to say the index. But imagine that you want to remove green from your list, but you don't know where green is. So you will write remove, and then you will write only what you want to remove. Here you want to remove green, so you will just write remove and then green. As you can see, green is not in the list anymore. What if you had 2 greens? Lists can have repetitive values. There is no problem for them. Let's check if we had 2 greens, what happens. As you can see, the last green is remained. So remove starts from index 0, goes on, and it will remove the first occurrence of a value. And then it gets out of this function. So it removes only the first green. You could get access to the index of each element. For example, you want to see what index blue is in. So you could write index and then write whatever value you are searching for. And then imagine that we want to print this one. Here we are supposed to get 2. As you can see, 2 is printed here. So you can get access to the index of a value by using function index. Now we have got 2 greens here. If we wanted to count how many greens are there in this list, you could just use the function count. So it gives you 2. So if you counted blue, we know that 1 is going to be returned. So we can count the number of occurrences of a value. The other thing you could do is that you could clear a whole list. Colors dot clear, and then colors would be an empty list. As you can see here, color is empty. But what is the difference between colors that clear and del colors? Del colors would delete this variable. So when you delete a variable and then you call it, it doesn't exist anymore. So it will give us an error here. As you can see here, it says name colors is not defined, because when you delete a variable, Python doesn't understand this color anymore. So if you want to clear a variable but later on use that variable inside your application, it is better to clear it, not to delete a variable. As you see, it is an empty list. You could also sort everything inside the list. For primitive types like numbers and strings, there is a pre-built library called sort that sort them. If they are numbers, it will sort them normally. If it is a list of strings, it will sort them alphabetically. So you can use list.sort, and then if you print color, you can see that they are sorted. BLA, BLU, GR, both greens are the same, red and whites. But imagine that you needed the sorted value, but you didn't want to change these colors. What should we do here? We want the sorted value, but inside another variable, we don't want to touch this one. So we could write, for example, list2 equals to sorted of colors. And then if we print colors and then after that we print sorted2, you can see that colors is the same as you see here, but list2 is the sorted version of colors. The last thing we are going to talk about here is checking whether something exists in the list. How do we do that? We can say, for example, red in colors. It will check if red is in colors. If it exists, it will return true. If not, it returns false. Let's see. Now we are waiting for true. If it was misspelled, it would return false. There are other pre-built functions on the list that you can check them on python.org, but I think the ones that we talked about are the most useful ones. Be careful that lists are one of the most powerful data structures available in Python. Try to make different types of lists, play with them, and learn how to store sets and collections of variables inside lists. If you have got any question, please ask me under this video. I will answer you as soon as possible. And if you like this video, please subscribe to our channel and gives us thumbs up. Have fun and don't forget to practice.